All right, welcome to Unsupervised Learning. This is Daniel Miessler, and this is a big episode. I've been wanting to do this for a number of months now, and I finally got all the pieces together to be able to do it. So let's jump in. Okay, so this is a post called How My Projects Fit Together. It is a follow-up to a previous post called What I'm Doing and How It's Going. And I think that came out about a year ago, something like that. But what this post does is it essentially answers the question that I get asked most often, which is people looking at the various projects that I put out over the last year and basically saying, look, I see you doing Fabric, I see you doing Substrate, and you keep talking about this thing called Human 3.0. What exactly is all of this? Like, what are all these different projects? How do they fit together? Are they all related? What is going on? And the answer is yes, they are all related. And I'm going to talk about how in this post. Okay, so I like to start everything with a problem, right? I don't like to talk about solutions, which all of these are solutions to something, right? All of these different projects here, they're all solutions to something. And I don't like to jump immediately into talking about the solutions. I'd rather talk about the problem that we're trying to solve first. So these are roughly the major problems that I'm trying to solve currently with all my different work. So WP stands for World Problem. And WP1 is humans are suffering from a lack of purpose and meaning in their lives, which is causing mental health and societal problems. So lack of meaning, I would say, if we had to make this 3 words, lack of purpose or lack of meaning, I would say is number 1. Okay, second one, humans do not understand and are not prepared for the sophistication and speed of introduction of AI into our society, which will cause major work disruptions and exacerbate our lack of purpose. So this is essentially the introduction of AI exacerbating the problem of number 1. Okay, so number 1 is a lack of purpose or meaning. Number 2 is AI is going to make it way worse. And number 3 is humans are not trained to become full spectrum people, but rather to become economically useful to a materialistic and transactional economy. Okay, so this one's a little bit different, very related though. All 3 of these are related. So essentially, my work is centered mostly around solving those issues right now. And I actually have multiple other problems defined, which in my Telos file, I also have associated with other strategies and solutions and projects and stuff like that. But these are the core. These are the top 3. So next thing to say is that I am a security person. I've always been a security person since the mid to late 90s, and I always will be. So I am going to continue doing security work. I think about everything in terms of security. Like, it's just part of my DNA. I can't unsee it. Every time I see any system, I think about how transparent it is. I think about ways to fix it, break it. I'm always red teaming everything, right? So another way to think about this is that I view AI as containing security, right? I feel like it contains security because if you think about it, security is actually, this is one of my favorite things about security, is that it's Latin and it means se, which is without, and cura, which is worry. So without worry. And if you think about the problems here, I am worried about these. I believe humans, consciously or unconsciously, are worried about these things. So I'm trying to remove the worry from these things so people can go on and be extremely productive and have meaningful lives, right? So ultimately, this is all kind of the same thing. It's all kind of a giving people security so that they can thrive. I mean, that's ultimately what this is all about. Now, there are 2 main ways that I'm basically pursuing this, continuing to pursue this on the security side, tangible ways. Like, I'm going to do it all the time. I'm still advising, I'm still consulting, I'm still doing assessments. But in terms of actual projects, These are my two main projects that I still have going, and I continue to upgrade as well. So one is called Helios, which is continuous attack surface monitoring, which I'm now starting to add AI stuff to as well. But essentially, I've been running this for years and years. I still have paying customers on it. And I just love attack surface management. I love automatically, quickly discovering vulnerabilities and then being able to find the weaknesses there, or finding attack surface and then being able to find the weaknesses in the attack surface, and then going on to exploitation, and then reporting on that, alerting very quickly. That's a thing that I just love. And I think it very much applies to like the world around me. I basically want Helios for everything. So that's like basically the platform that I'm building there. But this one specifically is just for information security attack surface. And it's an actual product that, customers can actually sign up for. This next one is called Domain, and this one is relatively new. It's basically security program management using the Telos infrastructure, which I'm going to talk about later. And this is an actual project and an actual product as well. Okay, so those are the two main security projects that I'm going to be focused on and will continue to be focused on. So now let's get into the main core ones that are more closely tied to the problems that we just talked about. So the projects are Substrate, Fabric, Telos, Daemon, and Human 3.0, which is kind of the centerpiece for all of these. So we're going to look at each one individually first, and then how they work together. So I have a full explainer video here on Substrate, which we'll put a link to there at the top. And also this will all be in the description for the video. But Substrate has its own video. It's got its own full blog page and everything, full description. But it is an open source framework for increasing human understanding, meaning, and progress. So it's basically designed to make things that matter to humans more transparent, discussable, and ultimately fixable. And I've got an example here that I put in just to remind you from the actual page. So it's basically a map to explain things and solve problems. And it's so big that it's kind of abstract, so it's better to use an example. So here's an example of an argument component. In fact, I'm going to pull up an actual argument component, which I submitted, which is even better. But think of an argument you might hear on any given day about whatever topic, right? So I don't know why you recycle. It's a total waste. It costs so much to recycle. The programs are poorly run or whatever. So this is an argument that you would hear in normal life, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it easier for humans to communicate with each other using tangible, transparent things, not just throwing out random claims which are opaque and you can't possibly research them. And it's just a whole bunch of like mini claims inside of one big claim. And then you basically have just rhetoric being shot, between two people, and it's just a total waste. So we're confronted by this type of thing constantly about recycling, but things that matter a lot more than that, other type of political things. But what Substrate can do is it can take, all these have AI wrapped around them, right? So they're not AI by themselves. It's actually mostly text components is what all of these are mostly based around, okay? Text. This is my religion, text. That's why I love Vim so much. I love clarity of thought, clarity of understanding, clarity of articulation of problems, solutions. Can you give it to me in 10 paragraphs? Awesome. Can you give it to me in 10 sentences? Even better. Can you give it to me in 10 words? I want to be able to go from 3 words to 10 words to 10 sentences to 10 paragraphs to 10 chapters, which is a book or whatever, to 10 books, to 10 libraries full of whatever, all explaining one concept, right? I'm just obsessed with this. And so much of what I'm doing here has to do with this simple concept of being able to explain things perfectly, clearly. There's no such thing as perfect, but extremely clearly explain concepts in a way that's tangible and you could sort of like communicate efficiently as a result of both of you having a crystal clear idea of what the conversation is in both of your minds. Okay. So this is the biggest part of Substrate, is having universal things that you can point to, which are the transparent components that are used to assemble a conversation, assemble a discussion. Okay. When somebody proposes a solution, okay, they're proposing something. They're like, I believe I can solve this problem. If you elect me, I will, whatever, we will have ice cream for lunch every day at our middle school, right? I think that was Napoleon Dynamite or whatever. It was some kind of thing where he's like making these promises. But the point is, I can put all the promises in text. I could say it's going to happen by this time. I could say we're going to raise our test scores by this much if we do this. We're going to have more fun based on this fun meter, right? So we can have like metrics, we can have KPIs, we can have all these things, and they're all published. And then the promise at the bottom says something like, if I don't raise these numbers by this time, then you should vote me out. And now this is published. This is the platform, right? You could do this for politics. You could do this for all sorts of things. Anyway, so that just shows you how powerful the text is and why I'm so on about it. Okay, so what you could do with that, once you have it set, right? Watch this. This is actually an argument. Okay, this is the Substrate thing. But this is an actual argument broken out in Mermaid.js. And if you zoom in to actually go into this image, it's actually showing the relationship between all the claims, whether or not they're valid or not. And the better AI gets, it's going to be able to go and independently research all these different claims and light up these different boxes as like green or red or orange or whatever, right? So now it's like, as somebody's talking, I mean, this is not too far away. You have like an AR interface, and as somebody is talking and they're like, and that's why, and then this thing happened and the conspiracy, and then they plan to kill me, and then blah, blah, blah. And you just see all these claims popping up, and then you see your AI in the background. It's going to research that claim, comes back, bullshit, turns it red, okay? Like this little node right here will turn red. Dink, didn't happen, nope, already, debunked. And so the bottom also turns red. And it's like, chances of this person being full of shit, 94%. Okay, this is the type of thing we will be able to do very quickly, very soon, because of all the ways that tech is advancing, not just AI, but lots of different tech is advancing. And so we're going to be able to have interfaces that like detect lies and detect deception and, find interesting arguments. And it's not just adversarial. It's not just finding bullshit. It's also when someone starts talking, your AI can remind you, they're talking about stuff that you really like, right? And you don't need an AI for that. You're obviously going to know that yourself just by hearing. But let's say you're having a conversation that's boring with some business partner, but right next to you in the Starbucks or whatever, your AI is also listening to that conversation next door. It's a public conversation. They are being loud, no big deal. But it's like, hey, you should probably close things down with this person you're talking to and go talk to her instead, because she's trying to solve X problem, which is related to your Y problem. And that's probably a much more interesting and fruitful conversation, right? Anyway, lots of different, there's just so much here. And there's so many different components to Substrate. But that's essentially what it is, right? Shared understanding and problem solving. So when people meet each other, discuss things, disagree or whatever, various components of the proposal or conversation can be made visible and transparent. Okay? Proposals, problems, solutions, arguments entered into AI as a context, at which point research can be done or analysis can be done, counterpoint generation, progress tracking. It's just insane. I'm really, really excited about this project. Oh, and I wanted to show you an argument because we actually have an argument. So just put it up recently. So if we go to, if we go to arguments, I just put this one in recently. It's the first one actually. So you see the structure here is AR 12934. That was random, so I just randomly made that. And then I have a quick top-level summary using underscore connections. So it's all one word. But if we go into this thing, look at this. AIs are capable of understanding. I've got a claim here, which is what that is. Argument style, it's a deductive argument, which means building claims that lead to a conclusion. And if you want to disagree with the conclusion, you have to find a problem with the previous statements, right? And then I've got a series of statements that result in the conclusion, which is number 8. Therefore, AIs are capable of understanding in the way that matters to us as humans. So this is a very basic, markdown structure, or pure text structure, whatever you want to call it. And that's an example of an argument inside of Substrate. Okay, so let's go to the next one, Fabric. Okay, Fabric you've probably heard the most about. If you haven't, that's fine. If you're brand new here, welcome, and there's lots to talk about with Fabric. I would say a couple of hundred people have made other YouTube videos around Fabric. So there's like tons of introductory videos. I've got an introduction to Fabric. Actually, that's this one here. Introducing the whole concept, which I'm also going to talk about here as well. But probably the best two are the one from Network Chuck. That's an extraordinary one. Actually, it's this one here. And then also David Bombal. I did an interview with him and with Network Chuck. So both of those intro videos are really, really good. Plus, I've got this one here. And essentially what it is, it's an open source framework for augmenting humans using AI. So the problem is that there's so much AI out there. There's so many websites, so many mobile apps, so many everything out there that it's like, okay, what do I use? How do I solve this problem that I have? So what Fabric is, it's a collection of problems and solutions. So I'm actually just going to go into, let's go into the GitHub page. So when you go into the patterns, which is what these things are called, these patterns are actually, they're actually problems, okay? Analyze incident, they're actions to take on a problem, okay? Analyze email headers, analyze incident, analyze logs, analyze personality. You could put like people's social posts in here. You could put like whatever you want in there and it will like do an analysis of their personality. Analyze prose to fix your writing. Analyze threat reports, whole bunch of information security stuff in here. Secure by design questions, also security related. Create aphorisms, create a formal email, create a Hormozy offer. This is a business creation thing. You could visualize anything. You can create an NPC for a role-playing game. Like all of these solve very specific tasks that humans need to solve during the course of a day. So rather than trying to make up prompts, like all of these are prompts, okay? But they're all custom tuned in a very clear format to solve a very specific problem. So now what you do is you call Fabric, and you could use that in a text interface. We've got a UI that you can use. It's designed to be mostly command line, but now we have a UI, a web UI that you can use. And there's also raycast support. So I'm going to take this whole page that I just, that I'm actually doing this video on right now, right? So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to do raycast, and I'm going to do extract wisdom, and then it's already highlighted, so I'm going to tab over and I'm going to paste. And I press enter. Now look at this. Boom. It's doing Fabric, extract wisdom, or actually in this case, it's doing extract ideas, I think. No, this is extract wisdom. Yep. That's the raycast one I did. Okay, so look, these top ones are the ideas. Now it's insights, quotes. Look, it's doing the quotes that came from the page. So now instead of having to go into the command line, I can now invoke this Fabric project from Raycast, which is pretty cool. So that's essentially what this is. So it's everyday things, right? learning, studying, self-improvement, problem solving, all these different things are things that you could do inside of Fabric. Okay, so let's look over here. I'm in the command line now, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit for you. And we are looking at the Fabric patterns. This is a better way to look at it than the web page, actually. So you scroll through here, look at this. Look at all these. And I added like a lot of these. Initially, I added all of them. But now, I mean, this is all open source. All of these things are open source. Like, probably over 100 of these have been submitted by the community from all over the world. There's like over 100 developers on this thing at this point. I think we got like 23,000 stars or something. And these are all specific problems that you can solve using Fabric, right? On the command line, in the GUI, or in Raycast, and there's lots of other ways to interface with it as well. So that's the concept. You have specific things you want to get done. There's a million AI tools out there. There's a million different prompts that you can use with the million different tools. So this is a way to use one framework that uses prompts specifically to solve different problems. So you just do Fabric, the name of the problem you're solving, and boom, you get back your answer. So that's the idea there. So next one, Telos. This is a relatively new launch. I've been doing this actually for years, just in text, just with regular cards, and I've been actually managing security programs like this for years and years, and doing security assessments like this for years and years. But now with AI, it's getting even more powerful. So this is a full project based around this concept. So essentially it is creating deep context about things that matter to humans. And you're going to notice that there's natural interaction and overlap with Substrate and with Fabric. And in fact, the way they work together is just insane, because guess what? It's all based on text. AI loves text. It's insane how all these work together and dynamically play off each other and like magnify each other. So let's go into this. Articulate the mission of this thing, articulate deep context about the things that matter to humans, okay? Open source framework for creating deep context about things that matter to humans. The framework allows us to use AI to manage entities of any size, from individuals to teams, to organizations, to companies. I mean, honestly, it's like countries, planets, solar systems. Like, it doesn't matter how big the thing is, you can manage it in this way. Just a question of like, how big does a file get and how much are you abstracting away the different components? So the GitHub page, I mean, I've only got a couple things in there right now. In fact, we'll just go in there. So what I have in here, I actually have a published full Telos file for this fictional company called Alma, which is something I do in a lot of my security talks. I use this as the example. But look at this. We got a company mission for this fictional company called Alma. We've got company goals. We've got company KPIs. Most importantly, because it's security oriented, we have the security team mission. Look at this, SM1. Each one of these are tagged with a specific thing so that the AI can cross-reference the context and understand the whole thing. And if you've not seen my videos on how AI understands, you definitely want to go check that out, because it heavily, heavily relates to Telos, but also to Substrate and basically all this stuff. But look at this. So security team mission, security team goals. Look at this. This is what we're trying to do. This is how we measure our success. This is our risk register. This is what we're really worried about. We've got all these narratives. We got current risks. We got strategies. We got like how we're doing, which we've just sort of written out. And I've got a video coming out soon. I'm still doing this as paid talks around the world, so I'm not releasing this yet. But at some point, I'm going to release maybe an abridged version of this. And by the way, I am releasing it inside the UL community. So if you're already a member of the community or you want to sign up, you're going to have a version of this full paid talk very soon. Look at this. Team members, what they're good at, how much money they make. Nadia's doing well. Check her out. Projects, project name, like who's actually running it, the schedule, the time frame, all the different stuff. And then look at this. This is the list of metrics that are happening, right? Updates to the metrics. And using this, I don't want to go too far into this, but using this, I can manage the entire program. It is absolutely insane. So that's what we have in Telos so far. And I've only uploaded the corporate one. This is how I manage my own life, actually. I do everything with a Telos file. My whole life is in a Telos file. I have my traumas. I have relationships. I have my business goals. I have my personal goals. I have my eulogy goals. I have everything in there. My favorite mental models, my ideas that I've come up with, which we're going to talk about in the Daemon part. All this different stuff, it's all in one context. You feed that to an AI. And by the way, be careful what you put in your Telos file if you're sending it to a cloud thing. I have mine, fairly safe and sanitized. So I'm not like airing any laundry or something like that. Besides, everyone kind of has the same problems. So I'm not super worried about like I'm a special snowflake and I hope nobody finds out about this or whatever. So I'm not really concerned about that. But be careful if you put something in your Telos file and then you upload it somewhere. Just something to think about. Not something to panic about, just something to think about. But because I have everything in there, all my goals, all my aspirations, what I hope somebody would say at my eulogy when I die when I'm 137, when my human body dies. I'm not actually going to die. When my human body dies. So when that happens, what are they supposed to say? Are they going to be like, he made a good chicken tortilla. He really likes salsa. Like, I don't want people to say that at my eulogy. I want them to say nice things that I've done. Well, guess what? I have to do those things before that time, right? So this kind of stuff I put in my Telos file. And it's just really, really powerful. So it doesn't matter if you are managing an ice cream truck, or you are trying to run a family, or you're trying to get your life on track and have purpose in your life, which we're going to come back to that. That's like the central theme. Doesn't matter what you're managing. If you get promoted to galactic ruler of the Milky Way, you need something like this. Okay, hopefully it's still text. Hopefully you're still using Vim when you get that promotion. I would be. But you basically can manage anything like this. From the smallest thing, a personal workout routine, all the way to you are the director of the Milky Way. Okay? Got some additional context in here. I've got the link here to the corporate Telos, which we just looked at. I'm going to be uploading soon a template for the personal Telos and different templates for different types of organization or entity. So that's Telos. So personal, well, not personal, but deep edit. So deep context about things that matter to humans. Again, at all scales, okay? Ourselves, teams, organization, companies, etc. Now, one last piece on this in terms of application. So once the AI sees everything, this is what we were talking about before. Once the AI sees everything, purpose, goals, challenges, strategies, KPIs, now we can start asking questions. We can start taking actions. What mistakes are we making that are holding us back as a company, as an ice cream truck business, right? If this happens, what should we do? Absolutely insane. I've got examples of doing this for a security program. I have it in this talk. It's absolutely insane. What's the biggest thing I could do right now to be more efficient, to better pursue my goals, right? Explain how so-and-so expert would look at my relationships. Explain how so-and-so expert, I have a favorite fitness person that I love, and I would love to see what he thinks about my workout program. So I could just ask that question, okay? And then if he's also a psychologist, he can just look at my entire thing and be like, hey, here's what I think you should do. So analyzing your life and your goals and your strategies for achieving them in the mind of Richard Feynman or Naval Ravikant or whoever your favorite person is. You could use their eyes to look at your stuff and give you analysis. Why? Because it's all in one place. This is a thing that so few of us have. And Telos is the structure for allowing you to have it as well. Okay, next one here, Daemon. This one is brand new. This one came out when I wrote this article, or this post, this collection post here. However, I have been talking about it forever. In fact, since 2016, in the Real Internet of Things, which I don't think I have it linked here, but you can find it on Amazon. It's called The Real Internet of Things. The concept for Daemon, an open source framework for personal APIs. Now, it's actually any API. It's more like entity APIs, but I decided to use the word personal. Might change it, not sure. The concept here is that when you have a Telos file, or you have a web page, or you have whatever, and you have listed your individual ideas that you've come up with, you have listed your individual preferences, your favorite foods, your favorite movies, who you're looking for in a relationship or whatever, these are just API endpoints. And because of AI, and because of not just AI, but like the tech that we have now, things like Postman, I mean, it's absolutely insane. You could parse a Telos file, have a section called private and public, and be like, look, for all the public ones, post these, make these available as a public API of my favorite books. And guess what? It spawns, and on the endpoint /books or /favorite_books, someone can just pull that. And the whole purpose of this, if you check out the book, The Real Internet of Things, your daemon, this is my prediction, going back all the way to then, your daemon will know you intimately because of your Telos file, actually. And it will be parsing all of the daemons around us, business daemons, individual daemons, cars, objects, whatever, okay? They're all publishing like the tree's current water level, the tree's current happiness level, like is it drooping or whatever. And maybe you could see that, but you can't see it from, across the city. So I could ask the question, how healthy are all the trees? And boom, that was actually a query to the API. Or maybe they pushed it, but maybe it was a poll type of query. Anyway, the point is you can ask a question of a city, how happy are we? Okay. And now we just live hit the API for all these different people who have it published and are okay with putting their current mood out there or whatever. So now we have a live beacon of what is happening inside of our room, inside of a small city, a small town, a village, or a planet, right? My favorite case of this is you walk into a Starbucks. Okay, I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up. Give me a second here. Boom, boom. AIs. Yeah, here we go. Predictable. Yeah. So watch this. The stuff is all related, okay? I actually should have put this in the post. I'm glad it's in this video. So this is an illustrated 9,000 word version, updated version of essentially the book that I did in 2016, okay? So what part are we on? So we have digital assistants, everything gets an API. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so everything gets an API. Daemon Aura. So I called it Daemon for this GitHub project. So watch this. AIs will understand things by what they broadcast. So look at this. Got some art for it. I spent so long on this post. Like, please go read it. Okay. Which I call a daemon, which is Greek for spirit. So don't think demon, although everyone will, of course. But businesses, people, whatever. Look at this. For a restaurant, here's your daemon. Menu, hours, staff. So look, watch this. You're moving through the world, okay? This is you moving through the world. Your DA, which is your personal AI, on your iOS device or your Android device or whatever, your Meta glasses, whatever it It knows everything about you. It's constantly aware and awake and constantly reading news for you and presenting things to you. Most importantly, it's reading all the daemons around it, okay? It's parsing. Oh, there's a free biscuit over here at this little restaurant. Oh, this Thai place, you love that Thai place. And Sarah just said it's the best ever and you should go there. And the owner really wants to see you. He hasn't seen you in a while. Whatever. A plant over here needs watering, right? You can take some water that's in your thermos and go water that plant. All this stuff is available to the DA. There are thousands of daemons running in this picture, okay? Thousands. You're trying to have a conversation with your friend who's standing right next to you. This is them, okay? You can't be interrupted. You're not going to pull up a list of daemons and be like, oh, I'm going to go look at the menu for this restaurant. Not going to happen. Your AI is going to do it for you, okay? So watch this. Catalog, about, this is for businesses, right? Every business becomes an API, okay? The catalog, the about, the contact, how to do whatever. Why contact? Because you could just say, holy crap, these headphones just broke. Hey, Darsa, which is the name of my AI. Hey, Darsa, tell this company, like, I'm really upset that this just broke. Guess what Darsa does? Guess what my AI does? My AI queries their contact thing or queries their support thing and submits a thing and actually takes a little piece of my voice or a video, takes a little video. I'm like, hey, see this? Look at this cable. This cable's like, it's frayed. I got this thing 2 days ago. You could see, here's the receipt. Boom, Darsa sends the receipt. And boom, I didn't do anything. I didn't hit an API. My DA, my digital assistant, my DA, Darsa, hit it for me. Because everyone has these available, okay? And if you're a person and you're trying to date, you might have like a dating thing that's open. It's like, oh, this person likes climbing the same way you do. And her top, 3 books are the same as yours. Look at this. People will have daemons, auras, right? Daemons, auras, whatever. Who knows what it's going to be called? Like, I'm not going to be able to control that. I'm going to call it a daemon. I think that's a cool name. Plus, it's Greek. And it sounds like demon, but it's not demon. Anyway, look at this. Look at this. When people have daemons displayed, it'll be objects as well. Because the object might show it's working or it's not working, or it's like it's overwhelmed or it's not overwhelmed. But watch this. For a person, look, I'm looking through glasses. Eventually, it'll be contact lenses. And after that, it'll be a brain implant like Neuralink. The first iteration is going to be glasses, right? I'm looking at this person in the Starbucks, and they've got, this is what Darsa is showing me. Darsa is using an interface to interpret their daemon and display it in this form. Maybe they wanted to display it in this form, or maybe my DA Darsa chose to show it to me in this form, okay? But regardless, it's going to look different, okay? Because this one might, for example, it might indicate extreme creativity. So I'm going to be like, oh, crap, you're awesome. I know you're awesome. I'm looking at your aura right now. Like, what are you into? And then they're like, oh, I love writing about this. I love doing that. So like just so much potential here. This one here, I already did a post about this one. I already did a video. So I can't go into it. I'm already overexcited. Let's move on. Bottom line here for Daemon, everything will be broadcasting an API. All of the projects that I'm talking about in this video, Telos, Fabric, Substrate, all of these different things, a lot of it focuses on self-articulation, self-understanding, and presentation out to people, okay? Not because you're trying to be an influencer. Forget influencers. Like, influencer is like, it's an anti-pattern. It's a toxic version of the thing that I am talking about, which we're going to get to, which is Human 3.0. Okay. But But you're going to see how this is all forming together. So watch this. People should be broadcasting. People should be showing what they're into. Okay, we already do this with the clothes that we wear, with the accessories that we carry, with the conversations that we have, with our facial expressions, with whether or not we smile or do whatever when we look at people. So the point is, being an influencer is like artificially opening up this spigot that has been closed because we've been in Human 2.0 for too long, which is basically, Human 2.0 is basically saying, look, if you want to talk about your skills with your company, that's fine, but I don't need to know about it, right? And anybody who wants to talk about what they're into and share what they're into, you must be a narcissist. You must be an influencer type who just wants to be famous or whatever. No. Listen to me. Humans are designed, here's my argument. Humans should be sharing with other humans. Everything about you. I'm not talking about private stuff, okay? I'm talking about everything about you. You love gardening. You love reading. You love all these things. This is meant to be shared, okay? Not because you're an influencer, but because you care about these things and you want to connect with other people who care about these things. That is a human thing. Forget tech, okay? I want to remind you about something. Everything in here, all this stuff, this is not tech. I don't want you to think about tech. And you damn sure shouldn't be thinking about AI. AI is nothing but intelligence, okay? Forget any of that. This is all human-based stuff. Everything about this. You see this person in the middle? Forget this bubble around him. That's an API. Nobody cares. What I care about is walking into a coffee shop and having my DA go, hey, psst, I know you're reading, but this guy who just walked in, he is reading the same book as you. And it is listed as his number 2 book in his books endpoint on his Daemon. And he's also doing a little side business that looks like this. And yeah, I think you'd really enjoy talking to him. Do you want me to ping his DA? So my DA pings his DA and we look at each other and we're like, hey, what's up? You want to get a coffee? Let me buy you a coffee. So that is a human thing. That is not a tech thing. That is tech enabling human things. Everything here, Substrate, Fabric, it's all the same. Fabric is not tech problems. Fabric is full of human problems. Telos is not capturing tech stuff. It's capturing a business. It's capturing a person. It's capturing a program to do something better than it was done before. Okay? All of this is humans. Look at this. Mission for Daemon. Broadcasting. Forget influencers. The fact that only influencers are sharing anything about themselves is evidence of a broken society. That's the problem. That's what Human 3.0 is, undoing that. Okay? So watch this. Mission. Share yourself with humanity. That's it. Share yourself with humanity. It doesn't have to be everything. Okay? You put what you want in your Daemon. And you can even have it blocked off and everything. Like, the better the tech gets, the more you're going to need authentication to get to certain ones, and only friends can see it. Like, all that will come. But essentially what this is starting with is a structure for defining your personal API. Okay? So that's what it's going to be. It's a schema. And essentially what I'm doing here, and this is pretty early on for this one, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have the schema. I'm going to have the templates for the schema for people to fill in. I'm also going to have collectors that go and get it from your content. If you want to run that, you just run it yourself. It goes and collects all your different stuff, and then it puts it in there. And then, of course, you can edit it. And then I'm going to have like a Docker container. I'm going to have like a domain setup or something like that, where it all connects together, and you press go, and boom, it spins up. And on a particular domain that is associated with you, you will now be broadcasting your Daemon. And then as people start to spin up their DAs, and when people meet each other, so for example, you could have like on your necklace thing, or in a Daemon broadcast that is actually local, or on an arm patch that is a QR code. Those can all be URLs to your actual Daemon. So when your personal tech that you're walking with has a camera on it, which is absolutely coming very soon. I mean, Meta glasses already do, but I'm talking about a continuous camera. When it sees somebody's QR code walking by, boom, it pulls the thing, assuming it's not already broadcasting and can't detect it in a different way. The point is, we're going to move through the world seeing each other broadcasting. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Seeing each other broadcasting, seeing each other surrounded in these auras of purple and pink and equations floating over somebody, or like they're wrapped in vines. We know they love plants. Like, it's just going to be extraordinary. And don't think at all about the tech. Think about the connection to humanity that we will have enabled by tech. Tech should disappear. Okay, if I'm walking through the world and I see somebody and they look awesome and they're smiling and they appear to be wrapped in plants, and the plants are like moving and like, they just look like one with nature or plants or whatever. I'm not thinking about tech. I'm thinking they really like plants, and so do I. So I'm going to talk to them. Me as a human, I'm going to talk to that person as human. And we're going to talk about plants and soil and stuff. All right. That's Daemon. Personal API, broadcast. Okay. Now, this brings us to the big one. Human 3.0. I've been talking about this. I've been mentioning it. I've been saying the word for a very long time. And it's time to talk about it. So Human 3.0 is a framework and platform for upgrading humans. Both a framework and a platform. We're going to go into this. Its purpose is to help people transition from being a detail in the legacy corporate-based economy to a new model of success based on self-articulation and expression. Okay? Quite different from the others because it's basically the container for all these other ones. So all these other ones are moving towards this thing, which hopefully you've been picking up as I've been talking. It's all moving towards this bigger thing of human to human connection, and actually an economy and society that is based on that, which not only do I think would be nice, okay, I'm not basically saying, oh, wouldn't it be nice if this was happening? Wouldn't it be nice if this were true? I am saying that, but I'm mostly saying the thing we're currently doing is not going to work anymore, because the economy that we have is based on humans mostly doing human 2.0 stuff in a very materialistic and short-sighted economy where you spend from 9 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening doing something basically inane, which drives you insane, makes you crave the weekend and absolutely dread Monday coming up. I don't know what percentage of the world is like that, but it's a lot. Why do we got a thumbs up? What happened? Dreading Monday is not a thumbs up. I don't know why I did that. Listen, sound like Biden. Listen, folks. Okay, so another way to state this is it's infrastructure that can make Human 3.0 happen. Okay? All right. So now let's talk about the core philosophy here of Human 3.0. So here are the main concepts. Again, there's a platform component of this as well. So it's an actual thing that you can go and do, you could sign up for and actually go through. That's not what we're talking about here. First, we're going to talk about the philosophy and the framework itself. Number one, humans have been trained over the last 150 years to become corporate workers and to primarily identify ourselves as corporate workers. Okay? This was never ideal for humans, and its time has now passed. So AI is about to remove or disrupt most knowledge work and arguably a lot of other work once robots come as well. But either way, we have to get ready for what's coming next. And what I believe is coming next is becoming self-actualized, full spectrum humans that can create and offer value to other humans, okay? Other humans. This transition requires a different way of thinking about how we learn things and how we define and pursue success. And it also involves becoming radically self-aware, becoming continuous learners who have the creative and financial freedom to spend their time doing purposeful work that they enjoy. That is the philosophy for Human 3.0. Okay? And I'm going to update this. I'll continue to improve. I'll add some things, remove them. But ultimately, this is the core of it. So here are the components. Okay, this is for the actual platform. Okay, so I want you to think of this. Human 3.0 is a vision that I'm saying it's a thing that we should be thinking about. It's what I believe the future is. This has nothing to do with a platform. It has nothing to do with tech. I believe this is a changing of old to new, from legacy to what is coming. And importantly, I think there's a chasm in between these two things. Okay? I'm worried that we're being hit with AI and it's about to wreck billions of people. It's about to wreck billions of people, especially the hundreds of millions who work in knowledge work. So we have legacy human 2.0. We have, I think that was going bad anyway. Because of the loss of religion and for a lot of other reasons, we were already sort of steering into a bad place with a lack of meaning. And this is like 5-10 years ago. Okay, it's already going to a bad place. And then you got social media, you got tech. Tech is causing more problems. But ultimately, it comes down to we lost community and we lost religion. And it was just taking us in a bad place. Now bring AI in. And one of the core things that gives us meaning as humans is actually our work. The fact that we feel like we're making some sort of contribution to work. Somebody appreciates what we're doing. We're obviously having some sort of positive output. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying us. Okay? So that's a vibe. That's a thing that does give some meaning to people's lives. Now, AI is coming to crush that. Not on purpose, but it will. It will have the effect of removing or massively disrupting hundreds of millions of jobs. That's my belief. It's a belief of a lot of experts. Some people don't agree. Doesn't really matter. Let's assume it's 10% worse or 90% worse or better. It doesn't matter the actual numbers. Directionally, you should believe this. It is true. That's my claim. Now, given that, the disruption is going to be extraordinary to society, to everyone. I have no idea what's going to happen. The number of variables are far too large. Anyone who tells you they can predict specific implementations of technology, they are lost, and you should not listen to them. What I'm trying to predict is based on human desires, based on what humans want and have always wanted. So I'm trying to make somewhat like evergreen, except for future-looking predictions that are based on what we know humans need and how they're going to get that from the world. So that's essentially what I'm trying to do here. And what I'm principally worried about, if you go back to WP1, it's the loss of meaning, and WP2 is the loss of meaning exacerbated by AI taking jobs. So that's what it comes down to. Now, the second piece is a platform that I am building, an actual platform, a tech platform that helps you figure out what Human 3.0 is, and it takes you through a giant series of steps. It's a guided walkthrough of steps in a curated, organized way. So it's a full set of video courses. Like, I haven't built all this stuff yet fully. I'm still working on the curriculum, but it's essentially a curriculum. It's videos. It's all this different stuff. This is not the pitch for that, so I'm not going to go into that here. But it shows you like how to use Telos, how to build your Telos file yourself, how to use Fabric to look at your Telos file, how to build your daemon. It's like basically a walkthrough of how to actually go and implement all this other stuff. But here's the point. You don't actually need this thing that I'm building, okay? You don't need it. All you have to do is look at all the other projects, which are the core projects. You can actually just go get them, use them the way I talk about in the videos, and you're already doing it. You're already moving towards Human 3.0. And I'm going to make the assessment, like the assessment's going to be available also open source. So it's like you could do all this stuff without the platform. 100%. Like that's the way it's designed. But some people, they want to be walked through it. They want it to be walked through it in an organized way. And that's why I'm building the Human 3.0 platform, which is called H3. So yeah, all the different stuff shows you how to build online presence, shows you how to have like lots of different income streams and all that kind of stuff. Oh, here we go. I actually answered this. Why make a platform? You can honestly get what I'm offering here by watching every video. This is exactly what I was just saying, right? You can do all of that. In fact, a lot of people already have. So they're already on the path, if not already achieved Human 3.0. The platform is just a guided version of it. So that's all it is. All right. So I got a section here. Why listen to me? This is mostly because of the platform, because they're like, yeah, why am I going to do a platform? Like, who the hell is this person? I'm not going to go into this. It's kind of gross. It's just like, nah, I did this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. Some people need to see this before they will listen. So that's why I have it way down here, because it's like not important. It's just meh. I'm gonna throw up in my mouth just looking at it. Yeah, how to charge for it? Not sure yet. It's gonna be some kind of subscription, maybe pay for the courses. I don't know. That's on the platform side. I'm not worried about it. Again, you don't need the platform. All right, component summary. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna summarize in a couple of different ways all of this different stuff. Okay, everything that we've talked about so far. So, Substrate, shared library of transparent objects that matter to humans. Oh, yeah, and I'm putting this free and open source, all of it. Fabric, shared library of AI prompts that solve human problems. Also free and open source. All of these free and open source. Telos, structure for capturing deep context about something humans care about. Free and open source. Daemon, system for publishing an entity to the world as an API and presenting that content on a website. Oh yeah, that's the other thing about Daemon, which I forgot to mention. I'm actually going to use the Daemon structure for the API to also be a website navigation structure. So you know how when you go to a website, it's like, oh, there's pull downs for like projects or about or whatever. Well, all of those I'm actually going to source out of Telos and the Daemon so that those are available, so that when you update your Telos file or you update your source of truth, wherever that is, that can then propagate to your website as well. So it's like you have this vibrant, like always aware sort of broadcast of yourself. And then Human 3.0 is the platform for upgrading yourself. It's a paid program. It's the program piece. But the Human 3.0 concept is actually just the combination of all of these put together, which doesn't require any platform whatsoever. It's just like all concepts and all open source projects. All right, so summary. Unify my work around a central mission, which is helping people transition to this concept of Human 3.0. Multiple components, Substrate, Fabric, Telos, Daemon, all focused on helping people and organizations, not just people, articulate what they are about so they can better improve themselves. Common themes here: clarity, transparency, continuous optimization, and most importantly, purpose. Purpose. Absolutely important. It's in the WP 1 through 3, right? this one's important. They all significantly feature AI because of its ability to see patterns across multiple contexts. So here's what's really crazy. You could take your Telos file. You could take your Daemon, you could take all this stuff and put these into context and send them to Fabric. I do this all the time. I do this multiple times per day. And then that same content can be part of your Daemon, right? And then those different components can be broken off and put into Substrate. All of those go into another context. Those get sent to AI. And you can ask all sorts of interesting questions and take actions, all based on all this being unified into context. And when you think about AI, context sizes are getting bigger and bigger. RAG is getting bigger and bigger. But essentially, you're going to be able to have your entire life. And Apple is working on this. That's what they're working on with their AI, which is going to take a while to develop. Same with Google. Google's going to have it as well. Meta's going to have it as well. And a whole bunch of third parties are going to have it, right? You're going to have the ability to have every image you've ever taken, every thought you've ever had, every idea you've ever had that was, original and cool, all your writing, everything about you, all in one place. And by the way, security-wise, this is going to be nasty. These things are going to get compromised. It's going to be really gross. No question about that. But the value that it's going to bring is going to be so immense and so much more than the risk that, one, these breaches will happen. Two, they will be really bad. And three, we will just continue on and do it anyway. That's just a fact of the matter. For anyone who's security oriented and you're wondering about this, that's what it is. And the final piece is a framework called Human 3.0, brings it all together, both a framework for thinking about progress and a platform. But just for the sake of this video, just think about the framework that unifies it all. So what am I hoping you got from this page and from this video? One, I hope you understand what I'm working on, how all these projects go together, and why. And that's number one. I just want you to see why I'm working on these things, why I'm so excited about them, how they all work together, how it's all text-based, and how they all play into this vision of what I'm seeing happening for Human 3.0, and why I want to help people get there. That's my number one thing, is helping people get there. So if they get there through the open source projects, they get there through watching all the videos, that I assume that's how most people are going to get there. And then people are just like, show me, make it for me, guide me through it. And so I'm going to make a platform that does that. Second piece is I want to encourage, also known as shame, you into doing the same thing. This post here, not the projects themselves, but this post here, what I've done is I've basically taken all of my work over the last year and a half, really almost basically since going independent, maybe 2 years, 2.5 years. I've taken all that work and I've brought it together into a cohesive explanation of why I'm doing that work, what problems that I'm setting out to solve. When I talk to people, this is what I want to hear from them. I want to hear from them when I say, hey, what are you working on? I would love, this is one of the things I talked about recently. I love a particular sentence. I believe, watch the sentence, very powerful, great for parties, great for like explaining, especially professional parties. I believe that one of the biggest problems in the world is this, which is why I am building this. I believe that it will do this for the world, which is why I'm doing it. So I've defined the problem, I've defined what I'm trying to do, and I've defined how I think it's going to help, right? And you can mention KPIs there, or it could be something more amorphous. But I love the clarity of this, right? I love the clarity of like, what are we actually doing here? What are we actually doing here? And this is a central theme for every single one of these projects, clarity. Because clarity, once you lock that in on a purpose, That is what gives you fulfillment. That is what gives you the ability to like take all this damage from the world, right? Experience all this suffering, which I massively learned from Viktor Frankl. If you are locked on this distant purpose and you're taking damage, it can actually feel good. It can actually feel good to struggle, right? If you're locked on this thing. So the second piece of this is I want to encourage you, right? You're out there, you're working every day, you're putting stuff on social media too, sometimes, maybe, depending on who I'm talking to. Your stuff is out there. Can you describe it crisply? Can you clarify what problems you're trying to solve? Can you crystallize it down to 15 words, my favorite length for summarizations of this type? Can you crystallize it to 15 words? Can you articulate it to a person as I am doing this work because I believe it solves this problem? And that's why I'm doing these projects, right? I think it's just beautiful. I think it's beautiful. And part of this is to get my stuff out there, right? I mean, this is a thing you have to do. You have to talk about your work. You got to get it out there. I want people to be excited, all of that. But this second piece is just as important. I want to see yours. Now show me yours. Go and make this, something like this. Half a page, whatever. It could be a set of bullets. I'm working on this because of this. I'm working on this because of this. Here are the problems I'm trying to solve. Send them to me. Daniel@danielmiessler.com. Send them to me. I want to see what you're working on, and I want to see why. And look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.